Well, the fans fired up for another Monday night home game for the Pittsburgh Penguins as they host the Columbus Blue Jackets, the third of 5 meetings between these two divisional rivals. And a great opening video here in honor of the holidays with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra providing the music. Hope you enjoyed it here on Root Sports. And there's our Kia starting goaltender tonight, Marc-Andre Fleury, who has a win against the Jackets already this year.
Yeah, and he gets his 4th straight start for the Pittsburgh Penguins against the Hyundai starting goaltender, Curtis McElhinney. And he's already faced the Penguins. Those 2 games were back-to-back. November 1st and 2nd, the Penguins winning both of those. And Zatkoff, the backup to Fleury, got a shutout.
Head coach of the Blue Jackets is Todd Richards, who once worked with Dan Bylsma and will work with him in the Olympics. He'll be the assistant to Dan Bylsma. And his club with a couple straight shutouts is Danny Bylsma. And those two continue to communicate and talk a lot about their roster coming up for the Olympics. But tonight, they're on opposite side of the fence.
And Gino back in the lineup for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Brooks Orpik out here tonight. James Neal out, a 5-game suspension for a knee.
The Jackets dump the puck into the Penguin zone. Chris Letang back to play it for Pittsburgh. Moves it up the near wing. And Dupuis able to work it out to center to Kunitz. Crosby cutting to the net. Here he is. And the pass went right by him. He was tied up. Defensively unable to get to the puck. And now the Jackets, R.J. Umberger goes the other way. That was Ryan Johansson who had Crosby checked there, and he was unable to receive the pass. Now here come the Penguins on the attack, and it's banked away, and Foligno reaches for it.
Johansson, long, lanky hockey player. Thought he might have got a stick in there and hooked up Crosby. The Penguins with good speed early in this hockey game.
The Jackets really played well here in Pittsburgh on November 1st. They played a home-and-home series November 1st and 2nd. Fleury had to make a lot of saves. He made 37 in a 4-2 win, and the Jackets were all over the Penguins in the first period of that game, you might remember. But Fleury was outstanding. Now here's Matt Calvert. He looks to the left wing. Dubinsky centered it onto the right point. Dubinsky takes the return pass behind the net to Cam Atkinson. Atkinson moving back and forth behind the net. Steps out, pulls the trigger. It hit Engelland, and the rebound chopped at. And it was Calvert who got a piece of it, and now Dubinsky takes the puck for Columbus. Into the high slot. It'll come near side. Nikita Nikitin with a blast. That hit a man in front. Calvert gets the puck in behind the goal. Penguins again under pressure from the Blue Jackets. This is what they did in the first period of that November 1st meeting here in Pittsburgh.
Exactly, and Dubinsky was the man who started it all. So good at that puck protection, turning the backside to a player. It was a good shift by the Jackets.
Penguins weather a bit of a storm there, and Derek Engelland dumps the puck in, and all the way around for Brandon Sutter. He didn't get to the puck, but it goes behind the net. Nikita Nikitin moves it near side, where Dalton Prout takes it for Columbus. Try to get it out. Matt Niskanen had it momentarily, and now the Jackets are able to get it up through center ice. Niskanen will go back to play it in his own zone under pressure from Boone Jenner. Big second-round pick of the Jackets. Now the puck jumps out of play over there on the Penguins bench.
Let's take a look at the Rivers Casino. Tips to win in the hockey game. Gino's back. He missed 2. They're going to need him without James Neal. Left wing lock to insulate the defenseman. That left winger's got to be back to help out. And, well, the first goal could be the winner tonight, as the Jackets have not allowed a goal in their last 2 hockey games. And the Penguins are 16-2 when they score first and offside here. And there's Brandon Dubinsky, and he's a long shot. Maybe that not that long of a long shot to make the U.S. Olympic team. And he is a very good leader. He's very good down low. He's had one heck of a season here, and the coach just loves him, Todd Richards, and I know he's trying to get him on that squad.
Now here's Ryan Murray, really good young defenseman, dumps the puck up into the Penguin zone. Murray's taken 2nd overall in the draft here in Pittsburgh in 2012. Bouncing puck comes to the glove of Marc-Andre Fleury. He'll hold on to it for a face-off in the Penguins zone. And a quick look at our UPMC Sports Medicine injury update. Big names, big defensemen on that list, Bob.
The elder statesman back there. And those guys are all bring a little something different to the hockey game. But, wow, all 3 of them out at the same time. That's where your depth comes in. The Penguins have done such a great job drafting defensemen, trading for defensemen. Brian Dumoulin coming up for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He was part of the Sutter Stahl trade. Ray Shero just stockpiled defensemen here in Pittsburgh, and you see why they're so important.
Derek McKenzie for the Jackets on the left wing. Curls up under pressure from Engelland. Dumps it back in behind the net. And Corey Trop tried to shoot it. Did get a kind of a sharp angle shot away on the backhand. Another blast from out by the blue line through traffic. Fleury never saw that one as McKenzie let it go on his way to the bench. Now Derek Engelland banks it off the boards to center. And a steal. Foligno took it away from Niskanen. Down the wing, he shoots it. Well, he makes the save. And hangs on to it. And you can kind of feel the emotional level of the Jackets very high right now. The Penguins are going to have to match it.
Yeah, and Adams is a left shot. And, you know, not a great play in the neutral zone by the Penguins in trying to pass the puck to him. They turn it over. And Foligno wearing 71. His nickname Gino, as well as the Penguins 71 Gino, with a great chance there.
Penguins win the draw. Chris Letang looks up. Right up the middle he goes to Dupuis, who feeds into the left wing corner for Kunitz. Kunitz behind the net. For Crosby, quick backhand pass, goes past everybody and all the way back up into the Penguin zone. And Fleury will set it up for Letang. Letang with that great burst of speed out of his own zone. Skating beautifully right now into the Jackets zone. Drops it off. Crosby a shot. And the save made by McElhinney, and he holds on. That's as good a rush as we've seen from Letang this season.
Great stuff there. And Brooks Orpik injured in Boston as Sean Thornton came down and took his legs out, slew-footed him, and hit him a couple of times. Concussion for Brooks Orpik, and they took him off. And we've heard nothing but good reports so far after that incident. That was, well, it was pretty scary to say the least, David.
Still waiting for word on Sean Thornton's suspension. We did get news today on James Neal's situation for kneeing Brad Marchand in the head while he was down on the ice. He gets 5 games from Brendan Shanahan. Here's Pascal Dupuis down the wing. Centered it. Wow, that went off the goaltender and ricocheted right back through the paint.
Did that go through his legs from behind the goal line? I don't know how it stayed out. Oh, boy.
Taken behind the net by Nikita Nikitin. He moves it out in the middle to Dubinsky. Quick outlet pass on the left wing to Matt Calvert. Robert Bortuzzo defends against Calvert as he works the puck to the corner. Bortuzzo hasn't dressed for 12 of the last 13 games. Back in the lineup as a result of the injury to Brooks Orpik. And now it's Simon Desprez with it. Penguins trying to get out of their own zone. Engelland turns away from Blake Como, moves it up to center ice, but it comes right to the Jackets. Anisimov takes the lead pass from Prout and gives the puck to Jokinen, who got it to Como, and his shot off a Penguin body thrown back in front. It comes all the way through to the near side. Nikita Nikitin back to the net. Fleury the save. Anisimov on the doorstep. Fleury able to find the puck and freeze it before he could get to it.
Well, Columbus hasn't allowed any goals in the last 2 games, and sometimes you just got to shoot it from anywhere behind the net. It goes off the left skate of the goaltender, Curtis McElhinney, and out the other side. And went by his stick, off the inside edge of the left skate and out. And he's pretty darn fortunate that that puck didn't find its way in behind him.
Jackets control the face-off. Mark Letestu, the former Penguin, number 55 on the ice. Chris Connor hit by Derek McKenzie. Letestu gets the puck, moves it in behind the net. And Corey Trop tried to work it in front. He put it off the back of the cage. Trop working very hard down low. Claimed on waivers from the Buffalo Sabres. Shot by Murray, and that's off a stick to the far side, and Connor gets to it. Connor trying to get it out. Sutter looking for the puck as it slid right by him to center, and back come the Jackets. McKenzie knocks it right back into the Penguin zone. They've outshot the Penguins 6-2 so far. Penguins haven't been able to get any sustained pressure in the Blue Jacket zone. It's been the other way around. And here's another steal. Look out, Como with a shot. That's off the stick of Niskanen. Como got it back. And in the side of the net now, Fleury's going to freeze it and hold on to it.
Oh, like bees on a hive. Trop started it. And Fleury ended it. Just getting a whistle here right now. And the Penguins have turned the puck over, not only in the neutral zone, but on the half wall. Vitale playing the right side, not center, looking for support. And that support in the form of Niskanen didn't come up the ice quick enough, and that's what Vitale was looking for, that far defenseman to come up quickly. And that puck wandered off his stick, and the Jackets almost took advantage.
And now they win the draw again, and Blake Comeau sends it back around near side. Out to the point, and Murray, and his shot wristed wide of the goal. And the Jackets just hustling and beating the Penguins to lose pucks right now at the start of this game. And behind the net, it's Anisimov on his backhand. And the bouncing puck, Letang over to try to play it out. Hit by Boone Jenner, but he keeps on skating, keeps his feet moving. And the Penguins eventually do get it to center. Malkin goes left side to Craig Adams. Backhand shot, hit a man. And was blocked by Savard of the Blue Jackets. Now behind the net, it's Zach Sill working out here with Adams and Malkin. So Malkin double shifting on a fourth line as Letang takes it at the left point on his backhand, sends it back in behind the net.
Sill was really good in Boston, had 6 hits to lead the Penguins in that category and looked very solid and comfortable. He's centering the line right now. Well, not that previous line with Malkin, but he has been playing center. That allowed Vitale to move to the right side.
Now it's taken by Jack Johnson. Good friend of Sidney Crosby's. Moves it along now for Fedor Tutin. Dumped into the Penguin zone, hard around. Kunis couldn't play it. It pops right into the slot to Sidney Crosby, who dropped it back to Bortuzzo, to Dupuis, to Crosby. Splitting the D. Crosby, backhand shot, blocker save made by McElhinney, and a good one.
One of the best on the backhand, in flight, in the game, undoubtedly, is Crosby right there.
Johnson with a shot down low. Stick save, Fleury. Jackets trying to cycle the puck again, but Chris Kunis has it. Across the ice now, hauled in by Pascal Dupuis to Crosby. Knocked away from him to the far side. Umberger picks it up. And it's driven in by the Jackets. Fleury can't stop it behind the goal. Around for Kunitz. Now Derek Engelland takes it. Simon Desprez headmans the puck, and Brandon Sutter has it for Pittsburgh. He dumps it up into the right wing corner. Sutter had a squirt out in front, and McElhinney off balance, able to freeze the puck, and actually the puck still looked like it was loose, but the whistle blows.
Well, Sidney Crosby with foot speed of his own. Wow, high off the shoulder, McElhinney.
Takes the shot, Guerin right there, shoots and scores! Billy Guerin wins it for the Penguins in overtime!
I'm so honored, humbled, blessed to be with you all here tonight. Thank you very much. God bless you all, and God bless America.
Congratulations to Bill Guerin.
Oh, a very emotional moment for Bill Guerin as he sits up in the box and looks down on all the fans cheering for him, standing and cheering and thanking him for how he helped the Penguins win the cup. And that after they showed a part of a speech that he made and was an induction to the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame, saying how much he enjoys now living in Pittsburgh and making it his home. And the instant connection he had with the fans and the city of Pittsburgh and this team, of course, on the way to the Stanley Cup. We have an icing call here. The puck comes back into the Penguin zone.
Billy Guerin, one of the toughest power forwards to play against in the National Hockey League. He was a right winger. I had to line up against him. He weighed about 2 1/4, and he could skate and he could shoot, and he was tough, and he would drop his gloves when he was needed in that fashion as well. So well deserved for Billy Guerin.
Nikita Nikitin with a puck for Columbus, shoots it, hits a leg and comes near side. 7 shots for Columbus, 3 for the Penguins. And the battle on the near wall. Olimata there, but now turning with it is Cam Atkinson, another one of those little guys from Boston College. Penguins take it away, though, and up the right wing comes up Genny Malkin into the Columbus zone. Malkin centers. Oh, it went right past the stick of Jason Megnan. It's like an outlet pass for the Jackets. They storm back. And on the right wing, it is Atkinson falling on Matt Calvert, and Malkin threw a shoulder into him and knocked him right off the puck. And now Malkin joins the rush, takes the pass from Letang, who went to the bench. Malkin into the right wing corner. Back to play it in behind the net was David Savard. He quickly moved it up to Umberger, cross ice to Foligno. Now Johansson was after the puck, reaching around him, poking away was Matt Niskanen, and it comes back to Niskanen. Now for Foligno, looks for Johansson, good play. Deep in his own zone by Crosby to steal the puck and quickly move it to Dupuis, who drops it off to Derek Engelland. His shot off the stick of Murray and up into the netting behind the Columbus goal. We'd like to welcome Atlantic Broadband subscribers from the Altoona area. Thanks for watching and rooting on the Pens. All of us at Root Sports and the Penguins appreciate your support. Well, great hockey fans up there in Altoona, Bobby.
Yeah, they really are. How about this great hockey player, Evgeny Malkin? showing he's no worse for wear. Look at the hit on Calvert. And then we saw Sidney Crosby come out with dazzling speed of his own. So the two best players are the best players in this game, and they're going to have to be because Columbus has got a ton of foot speed themselves. Altoona.
Derek Engelland headmans the puck, and off a stick and handled by Como, the former New York Islander, and Calgary Flame banks it off the boards to center, taken there by Artem Anisimov, and he shoots it, and it's deflected away from the net and out of play. By the way, that top line of the Blue Jackets, Foligno, Johansson, and Umberger, really doing well. They're on a 4-game scoring streak, and they've got a combined 6 goals, 13 points. So they're a force to be reckoned with here tonight. They're really gaining a lot of confidence as a group. And that guy just recently scored one of the more amazing goals in the NHL this season, Nick Foligno.
Yeah, between the legs, the hurdle type move, and showing the hands. Big bodied guys as well, getting the job done in a team that was second only to the Penguins in terms of points last year in the second half of that condensed 48-game schedule. Missed the playoffs in the last day.
Bortuzzo paired up with Dupre right now, does a good job to maintain possession of the puck as he found his way out of the defensive zone. Right wing to Kovacic shot, rebound, all the way out to Dupre. His blast deflected, never got to the net. And the Penguins maintain possession though. Bortuzzo slap shot, it comes right back to him. Bortuzzo to Sill and his drive off a leg. Now the Jackets doing the job defensively too, blocking a lot of shots. And now Fedor Tutin over to the puck. And he's finished off by Zach Sill after getting the puck to center to Letestu. The Jackets have to change. They do that as the Penguins hurry the play up the right wing is Kovacic. Into the middle now, the backhand shot taken by Sill, who spun to the ice after he let it go. And the save was made by McElhaney. And now the Jackets start back, and Brandon Dubinsky takes the lead pass to Calvert. Calvert with a shot. Fleury makes the save. And as Dubinsky was heading to the net, there was no rebound available.
Wow, great sacrifice, blocks, and hits and passion from the third and fourth lines in this one. Robert Bortuzzo wants to be a regular. He's only played one of the last 13. He and Trop in a good battle down low behind the Penguins' net. And the Penguins are getting efforts from the secondary type players. What about Adams in the battle with Jack Johnson, one of the top D for the Columbus Jackets, and there's Big Sill. 6 hits, as I mentioned, against the Boston Bruins. And he is bringing it right now, Zach Sill, in his 5th game for the Penguins.
Jackets win another draw. Yeah, it's 9-4 now on the faceoffs here in the first period in favor of the Jackets. Shot by Nikita Nikitin wide of the goal off the corner board. Prout threw it back to the net. And it comes to the corner, and Calvert with it there. And the centering pass comes right to the Penguins, and they'll get a 3-on-2 out of that. Connor with it. Vitale driving towards the net. Mata joining the rush. But the puck stays on the near wall, and nothing develops. And now the battle ensues here in the corner. 3 Jackets, 2 Penguins. Vitale trying to protect that puck along the wall. The near boards it comes, and Letang able to shoot it, and a save by McElhaney, and no rebound. And Vitale went right to the net and got body position there, looking for the rebound.
You talk about position. I like the position of the F3 Sutter, not wanting to get involved down in the corner. What he wants to do is he wants to stay in a situation where he doesn't get caught behind that goal line. He knows Calvert's right on his backside. Look, he backs up a little bit. Puck comes around, shuts it off there, and the play goes right to the net. He didn't want to get involved, tied up, fall down for fear of a 3-on-2 coming the other way. Good position by Sutter.
Penguins control the puck off the draw, but they give it away, and it's Foligno, Umberger, and Johansson again. That line we told you about, they're on the ice, but they're offside as they enter the Penguin zone. I want to show you that goal by Foligno, that incredible goal. We did show it once already in one of our telecasts, and here it is again.
Wow, that's great stuff against the Lightning. He's got 8 goals. 8 goals on the season.
He's also got 15 points in 19 games against the Penguins. That's pretty good stuff from a guy who really doesn't generate a lot of offense against the rest of the league. He's had some pretty good production in big games between the Penguins and the Ottawa Senators. That's where he used to play for. A lot of games between those 2 clubs over the years.
Dad coaching in New Jersey right now, former NHLer.
Another battle on the wall, this time on the other end of the ring. A little stutter step move there by Blake Como. Now he falls down as Niskanen stayed right with him. And he moves the puck out to center. Jason Megna on the ice for the Penguins, along with Jussi Jokinen and Evgeny Malkin, who's got the puck. Here he is. Drops it off. Jokinen shoots it. Deflected just wide of the goal.
Oh, that was Malkin's stick that deflected that. Jack Johnson tried to tie him up after Malkin with that trickery between the blue lines.
And Jokinen once again kind of popping out of nowhere to get a good scoring opportunity. He's really good at kind of coming from behind, being stealthy, and then suddenly getting a good scoring chance. Puck is dumped to the corner. And again, the battle in the trenches, so important. Here's Artem Anisimov. Great back check and a steal by the Penguins. Excellent work by Crosby, but he tried to center it and gave it right to R.J. Umberger. And the Pittsburgh native comes back. Umberger around Letang and the referee. Turns the cage and centers it. A good shot. Stopped by Marc-Andre Fleury. As Johansson let it go. Johansson with it again. Sends it in behind the net. Letang read that play. It was intended for Umberger, and a quick transition for the Penguins. Crosby with Kunitz. Kunitz fires and missed the goal. And another big bounce off the boards comes to Letang. Into the corner for Kunitz. Hit front for Crosby, and it was poked away.
Kunitz was hoping that McElhinney was going to cheat to Crosby down the slot. He thought he could get that upper corner short side.
Kunitz turns right back into the Columbus zone. The Letang and his shot. Where did that go? With skipping up off McElhinney and over the goal.
Sounded like it hit a bar.
It was strange. Now McKenzie works it to the corner, centering pass, and turning and shooting McKenzie, and it's up off a stick into the netting on the near side. Boy, good chances at both ends of the rink.
Oh boy, dynamite stuff. Malkin and Crosby setting up plays. Malkin going through the middle of the ice. Wow, that is great stuff. And there's the opportunity by Jokinen, just wide, just off the stick, as you can see on the Supermo presented by Allegheny Health Network. Malkin able to get that stick on the ice.
Defensive zone draw for the Penguins, and who's going to get it? Still up for grabs, and the Jackets end up controlling ultimately as Nikita Nikitin just whipped it wide of the net. Adams over to play it, and he angles one out to center. 5:53 to go in the first. Penguins have been slowly recovering in the shot department as they now have 7-9 for the Jackets, and they start out of their own zone. Dump to the right wing corner. But this will be an icing call as Zach Sill sent it down softly, but he ended up icing the puck.
Sidney Crosby, watch the speed. Almost looked like that goal in the Islander game, and he stole it off Vanek. Just, you know who did that more than anybody in my day? It was Wayne Gretzky. He'd sneak up behind you like that, hunched over, steal that puck like that, and go the other way and score 92 goals. One night, 3 on Roberto Romano right over his shoulder, Staggy, and Romano, he didn't know what to do.
As I remember, it wasn't too hard to get pucks over his shoulder. How tall was Romano?
He was 5'7", probably 5'6" now.
That's pretty small for a goalie, although back in the old days, a lot of goalies were small.
And we weren't that good back in 83, 84.
Here's Dubinsky with it, throws it to the net, it goes off the side of the cage. Penguins need to get it out, but pinching down near side Tootin. Good work on the near wall by Sutter to make sure he got that puck down into the Columbus zone. And now back in behind his own net is Johnson. Kobasu out here right now along with Brandon Sutter. And back into the Penguin zone. It's Connor actually with Vitale and Sutter at the moment. Now Niskanen in behind his own net. Thrown up and it did hit a Penguin on the bench on the far side.
A tight game, looking for the first.
Well, entering tonight, the Blue Jackets had not allowed a goal in 137 minutes and 45 seconds of playing time. You can add a little more time to that. Actually, let's make it 1:53:03 exactly. Thank you to Becky in the truck. You may remember that the Penguins goaltenders had a run like this last year when they did not allow a goal for just over or just under 219 minutes. Good pitcher's duel tonight, guys.
Yep, and the shutout record for the Jackets is just under 200 minutes, 199 minutes and 19 seconds. So it's still not a franchise record for them, although they're approaching it. And the Penguins, of course, the most prolific scoring team in the Eastern Conference right now. The Penguins enter the game with 96 goals, still looking for their first goal in this one. And here's Letang, and over the line goes left side of Kunitz. Dupuis, the pass too hard. And away the Jackets go. That's Nick Foligno, 1-on-2. Stops up and gives it away. And it's Olimata with it for Dupuis. Comes right back to Mata. Hard pass up the left side of Crosby. Backhands it into the middle, and Pascal Dupuis to Kunitz. Back to Crosby. Here he is. Fires on. He missed the goal off the glass. A heavy slap shot. That puck might have been on the edge. He didn't get it on the net.
Not too often to see Crosby just bury the head and blast it like that.
There's Dupuis shooting. He hit the goal post as he got rid of it so quickly. And he beat McElhinney, but then hit the post. And the Jackets force it back up into the Penguin zone. They desperately need 2 points here tonight. Their coach Todd Richards saying that they've left a lot of points on the table so far this year. Here's Anisimov firing, and they're playing well. Still nothing to show for it. Now there's a quick shot to the net by Anisimov, and Fleury able to make the save. Boone Jenner goes hard to the net, and a scrum in front of the goal.
Well, Sidney Crosby with an opportunity set up by Chris Kunitz as Pascal Dupuis, Kunitz, and Crosby went on a 3-on-2. They got the center drive. Oh, he got a piece of it with the glove, did McElhinney. And then an opportunity, a second opportunity to Pascal Dupuis off that back wall. Hits the bar to the blocker side of McElhinney, and that's a couple of posts and bars in the first period for the Penguins. Letang and Pascal Dupuis there.
Dubinsky wins a clean face-off, but then Nikita Nikitin can't play it. He has to go back into his own zone to get it. 3:17 remaining in the first period. The Jackets set it up from their own zone. Cam Atkinson able to slip it behind Derek Angela. Matt Niskanen battling against Matt Calvert. Turns, and there's going to be a penalty here. It's going to be a hooking call. Well, Niskanen did a good job to get in between two Jackets and handle that puck and drew a penalty.
There he is, gets that puck, protects it with his body. Calvert takes the hook up into the hands of Niskanen, and the Penguins will go on the power play.
Coming up in our first intermission, presented by your neighborhood Ford store with Rob King and Jay Caulfield. Dan Potash visits with that man, Robert Bortuzzo.
Number one ranked power play, 26.6% without James Neal.
Malkin centers, it's off the skate. Penguins with 10 power play goals in their last 6 games to rise to the top of the league in the power play category. Chris Letang's got to go back to center to play it.
Pressure there by the Jackets.
Letang moves it ahead now to Crosby into the Columbus zone.
Look at it, look out
again.
Here.
Pressure on him.
Yeah, they scored 3 shorthanded goals, Staggy. Dubinsky's got 3 shorthanded points.
He always seems to be pretty good going on the offense when he's killing penalties against Pittsburgh. When he was a member of the Rangers, he did that a lot. Now Kunitz gave it away, and it's Anisimov, another former Ranger, who shoots the puck back into the Penguin zone.
Well, really, the Jackets turned the puck over 4 times there. If you really want to count turnovers, just by being aggressive. Right at that blue line, Penguins may have to dump it in.
UPMC Sports Medicine power play for the Penguins. Sutter banks it ahead now to Letang, who sends it back around near side and handled there by number 19, Ryan Johansson. Killing penalties for the Jackets too, one of their top players. Now it's taken by Malkin. Looks it into the corner. Crosby centers and gave it away. And it is Johansson, big tall center iceman with a right-handed shooter, able to dispatch the puck the length of the ice on his way to the bench.
And interestingly, the Columbus Blue Jackets are 29th on the road on their penalty kill. They've given up 12 goals on 44 attempts. You would never know it with that last kill. And they're still on it.
And now the Penguins are offside as they enter the Columbus zone with 31 seconds remaining on the penalty to Calvert.
For a hook on that man right there, Matt Niskanen, who's been even or plus in 14 straight games. And there's Mark Letestu, versatile former Penguin forward, killing for the Jackets.
Off the draw, Sutter pushed it back to Niskanen. That's a big face-off win in the neutral zone for Brandon Sutter. Allows the Penguins to kill some time here. I beg your pardon, Calvert in the box, and then now the puck taken behind the net, and Murray. And that's an icing call against the Penguins while they're on the power play.
Yeah, they're missing James Neal on that power play. 5 goals, 6 assists for 11 points. The knee right here, as he didn't get out of the way of the head of Marchand. And 5 games handed down today.
That's the maximum number of games a player can get on a telephone hearing, not an in-person hearing. Well, the right wing now, it's Kobasu into the Columbus zone. No shots so far for the Penguins with the man advantage. They're down to 6 seconds on the penalty. Out to the right point, and it's Matt Niskanen fakes the shot. Dupuis with a drive. Save a rebound. Oh, just pushed right of the goal. Great chance for Brandon Sutter. Now Sutter's hit hard down there in the corner by David Savard. And that popped the puck free and enabled the Columbus Blue Jackets to clear it back into the Penguin zone and kill the penalty. But the Penguins fail to score in their first power play chance. Good opportunity for Sutter as the puck skips over the glass and out of play on the near side. 45.1 seconds remaining.
Sutter did a great job using the hand to settle that puck down to his stick. You're not supposed to close your hand on the puck. The puck is still bouncing like a rubber ball instead of a rubber puck there. Those pucks are frozen and in the freezer prior to the game. As a matter of fact, there's a bunch in the freezer in the penalty box area right now. And they go and grab those if one goes up into the stands.
32 seconds remaining in the period. The Penguins with 8 shots, the Jackets with 10. And a pretty good entertaining brand of hockey here. There's a shot by Dubinsky that's blocked on the near side. And Dubinsky broke his stick, and Engelland was able to get the puck out to center. Now Dubinsky went down as well. He gets back up, heads to the bench without a stick. And we're down to 12 seconds to go in the period. Letang has a lot of ice to work with here and shoots it long into the Columbus zone. Time ticking down. And Vitale back to the net, and it's wide of the goal as the horn sounds ending the first period.
Columbus came out with a charge with something in mind, but the Penguins upped the ante, didn't they? And really, they took over, I thought, the last 10 minutes of that hockey game. They're big stars, Malkin and Crosby.
Let's go to Rob King and Jay Caulfield for our first intermission report.
The period went on. It was McElhinney who sports a .932 save percentage coming into the game. That's top 10 in the league, and his numbers are going to go up from that. That shutout streak getting pretty long for the old Columbus Blue Jackets.
From Colorado College, Curtis McElhinney with Sergei Bobrovsky on the shelf. He was injured. Not last game, but the game before it. The last 2 games, shutouts over Tampa Bay and Minnesota for the Blue Jackets.
I like hearing
McElhinney only made 20 saves in that 4-0 win against the Minnesota Wild.
Just 20 saves?
Yeah, they played really well defensively.
Yeah, well, with that offense that they bring, Steg, early in the hockey game, I almost thought that sometimes their best defense can be that offense that when you have the puck behind the opposition's net.
Good point, especially look back to when Zadkov shut them out. He only had to make 19 saves in Columbus. And that was the night after they had registered 39 against Marc-Andre Fleury. He made 37 saves against Columbus. Centering pass goes off the stick of Fleury, and it comes right back to the Jackets, and it's Fedor-Tutin with a blast. Deflected wide of the goal. Back up the near wall. Umberger sent it back down the boards, and a reverse there for Foligno, but now Letang able to get it ahead of Jokinen. And nice work by the Penguins to quickly attack. Here's Magna down the wing, shooting, kicked out, and the rebound just beyond the stick of Malkin, who was streaking in. And he gets up a little slowly here. And that went down hard and drags himself back to the bench. Evgeny Malkin.
Yeah, he went down there. Didn't like the way he went down. I don't know how he is on the bench. He's not being attended to right now. Must be okay.
Pascal Dupuis for Crosby. Up top now to Niskanen. Slap shot off the end boards. Handled there. Dalton Prout trying to get it out. Got it up the near wall for Dubinsky, who backhanded it. Didn't clear though. Niskanen held it in, and Kunitz to Crosby shot it off the stick of Nikita Nikitin wide of the goal. Kunitz to Crosby. Save made by McElhinney. Rebound. He's got it in his glove. A bang bang play in front that time.
2.5 games. The Penguins, like the other 2 opponents, have not been able to get one behind the Columbus Blue Jackets. Netminder, what a save that was, and a bang-bang play from behind the net. Kunitz to Crosby. And here's Malkin. He went down, reaching for a puck. Skidded into the corner. No idea what his lower body injury was. He missed the last 2 for the Penguins.
We get a whistle here in the Penguin zone. There'll be a face-off outside the Penguin blue line early in the second period. The shots are almost even now. 11 for the Blue Jackets, 10 for the Penguins. There's a look at Gino as he kind of extended himself so far to try to reach the puck that he lost his balance.
Played just over 7 minutes in the first period. No shots on net.
Murray drove it into the zone, and Bortuzzo over to play it. It goes by him to Vitale, and now to Sutter, who shot it right into the Columbus bench on the far side. Well, it's a great day for hockey, brought to you by Day Automotive, and that it is. This is the anniversary of the day that Herb Brooks became the Penguins head coach, replacing Kevin Constantine. And, of course, Herbie winning the gold medal many years before that for the U.S. Olympic team. And always fond memories when we bring his name up.
Brooks Orpik named after Herb Brooks.
And the guy who was an assistant to Herb Brooks, Craig Patrick, former Penguins general manager, is in the house tonight. He is working on the front office for the Columbus Blue Jackets now. There's a shot deflected wide over to the near side. Savard goes all the way to the corner with it, sends it behind the net. Boone Jenner is there. Jenner onto his backhand, back to the forehand. Como behind the net. Como steps out, turns. Anisimov goes to the front of the net. Good work by Como. He centers. Anisimov there, and he shoveled it just wide. Bortuzzo got there a little late, but he couldn't find the net on his shot. And now here's Dupre with it, and he'll backhand it hard off the glass to center, where Boone Jenner drives it right back into the Penguin zone. Fleury can't stop it. Near side, Fleury drops in and around hard to the left wing board. It comes off the stick right to the Penguins, and Chris Connor. And he can't get out of his own zone with it. It's just dumped right back in behind the goal. And Sutter given a rough ride there by Derek McKenzie behind the net. And the Jackets continue to work hard, but now it's Simon Dupre with it for the Penguins. He's got a little room here. He backs it off the boards and out to center. Bouncing puck into the Columbus zone. Connor trying to get there. Better Tuna one hands it behind the net. And the Jackets start right back out. Pass into the middle. Taken by R.J. Umberger. Got Letestu going to the net. Drops it off. Jack Johnson shot off the stick of Crosby. And taken by Letang, ahead for Sid. Now to Dupuis, but he couldn't get it through. Following on, though, was Olimata. To Pascal Dupuis. Dupuis down the left wing. He fires, and a save made. And McElhaney will cover the rebound. And face-off coming up.
Oh, that Trop unit again with that work behind the net. Just dumping pucks in behind Marc-Andre Fleury. Just dump it in there. Protecting the puck down on the knees. Back up. There's Boone Jenner, the promising rookie for the Jackets. Big centerman. There's Como, Blake Como, the former Islander, doing some good work in the offensive zone.
Off the draw, Mata just shot out, just missing the net. And a bouncing puck taken by Ryan Johansson. He sent it up the wall, didn't get it out. Penguins keep it in. Centering pass for Crosby right off his stick. And on net, and a save made by McElhaney. Now it's Kunitz with it. Kunitz back for Pascal Dupuis. Cycles it behind the net for Crosby. Jack Johnson, very physical there on Sid, able to separate him from the puck.
Yeah, you got to read that play. You got to anticipate it. Defenseman, you stay in between the passer and the intended receiver in Crosby. And Jack Johnson with a left-handed shot looked out of the corner of his eye, head on a swivel, and knew that that puck was being fed behind the net. And both these teams trying to generate that offense. There he is, intercepts with the stick and then the body to separate Crosby. Sometimes if you use just the stick on Crosby, he'll go right through and win the battle. Not only did he get the stick in there, then he got the body in there, so Sidney Crosby could not dig in and take that puck away.
Really good friends at Shattuck St. Mary's. Jack Johnson's family lived right across the street from the school that Sidney and he attended. And they would have dinner at Jack Johnson's house, so he didn't have to eat that campus food. Here's Malkin driving to the net, walks in, scores! Evgeny Malkin goes coast to coast.
Well, after a tiring shift by Crosby and company, Jack Johnson was tired. And Tootin was flat-footed. Johnson couldn't get over to get Malkin in time. Tootin could not get through that left leg of Malkin. Don't you love how he protected that puck? He cut in like an alpine skier. The way he cut in with those edges on his skates and protected that puck. And then he used that momentum from his edges to walk right around McElhaney on the forehand. McElhaney, no poke check there on Malkin. Couldn't get the puck off the stick, and that was incredible stuff.
After he scored, Jack Johnson gave him a pretty good hit, knocked him down after the puck was already in the net.
Yeah, it was way too late, and you would think Jack Johnson would be in the middle of the ice being able to help out his buddy Tootin, who was beaten cleanly wide by the speed of Malkin.
Malkin and Tootin figured to be teammates for that Russian Olympic team.
So much for that lower body injury. He was flying there, Malkin.
Now here's Derek Engelland, sends it back to the corner. And puck moved to the near side to Adams. Just throws it rink wide where Derek Engelland has it. Engelland looks up and decides to carry that puck into the offensive zone. Shoots it down low. Save made, and the rebound cleared just in time as Zach Sill was hovering around looking for his first NHL goal. Dupre sends it to the corner. Adams will bring it up the wall and reverse it back into the corner. Taken there by Joe Vitale. Vitale with Prout leaning on him. Now Nikita Nikitin trying to get a hold of it, and he does. And a steal by Vitale, but it comes right back to the Jackets. Prout able to lift it up into the Penguin zone. Simon Dupre back to play it. Anisimov chasing him. And Dupre headmans the puck all the way out to center. Malkin, beautiful one-touch pass to the right side. And it's sent in behind the net. Malkin can't get possession of it. Anisimov moved it across the rink. And it's dumped by the Jackets into the Penguin zone. Bortuzzi goes back to play it over skates. Blake Como follows on, sends it behind the net. Jenner will hunt the puck to the near side. Solid check on the near side by Simon Dupre on Boone Jenner, allowing the Penguins to come to center. Now tripped as Vitale was pulled down late in his shift, and the Jackets will be shorthanded.
That's what speed will do for you. It'll score goals, it'll draw penalties, and the Penguins are on the board first, courtesy of Evgeny Malkin. There he is, St. Louis, Missouri native, Joe Vitale. A stick of Savard on the ice. Vitale tripped over that. The Super Mo clearly showed that, presented by Allegheny Health Network, and Savard will have to sit.
Savard used to battle Simon Dupre in junior hockey. He played for Moncton, and Dupre played for St. John's. Those guys had some good battles at the junior level. They were drafted in the same year in 2009. He's in the box, and the Penguins with their second UPMC Sports Medicine power play. Crosby, Kunitz, and Jokinen up front for the Penguins. Letang and Malkin at the points, but the Jackets win the draw, and here they come. Shorthanded, McKenzie gave it right to Malkin. He headmans the puck. He turned it over. Good work by Kunitz to recover the puck against Mark Letestu of the Jackets, and he leaves it for Chris Letang. Penguins looking to add to their lead with a man advantage. It's Jokinen flying into the Columbus zone and knocked away from him, and will be taken by Letang at center. Now it's Gino. Letang to Malkin. Sidney Crosby with it. Letestu challenges him, and his pass for Letang not on the mark. He'll have to go back and get it.
Now, the key is you said he challenged him, and that's what they're doing. They're challenging right now. Your passing has to be perfect.
Here's Malkin. Jokinen. Crosby didn't get it through. Couldn't shoot it and hit him in. Murray was down and hit his leg. And there was a lot of net behind the goaltender. Here's Malkin with it. Fakes the shot. Centers it out of the reach of Jokinen. Now Sidney takes the puck in behind the net. Crosby was in front of the net looking for a shot pass. Never got to him. And then Kunitz almost buried it, but it hit Ryan Murray right in front of the net. Malkin across the ice, and another good play by the defenseman Murray. Out to the right point, and Letang. Malkin takes it. 37 seconds to go on this power play. Crosby to Letang to Sid. Sutter pops out on the slot. Malkin has the puck. Shot, save made. Rebound jump right past Kunitz. Crosby quickly to Sutter. Right back to Crosby in the corner. Up top now to Letang. 21 seconds to go on the penalty. Crosby cuts in. Stick handle. Trying to get around Johnson. Can't do it. Protects the puck for Kunitz. Kunitz turns. Thought he might look at the net there, but goes back to Letang. 9 seconds to go on this power play. Letang to Malkin. Right back to Letang. The one-timer steered away nicely by Jack Johnson to the corner, and then he got to the puck and was able to clear it all the way down the ice.
Yeah, that was a great job there by both defense, Murray and Johnson. They both saved the day. Murray made a save in an open net, and Jack Johnson with a strong play and a clear on the backhand to get that down the ice, and a good penalty kill right there to keep it 1-0.
Here goes Dupuis down the wing. Backhand shot, kicked out of the rebound, ricocheted right wide of the goal off a body. It comes to the near side, and the Jackets able to come to center ice with it. It's Umberger along with Johansson. Umberger with good speed, stops up, turns and looks back, finds the trailer of the late man, and it's a shot taken by Prout up high right into the equipment of Marc-Andre Fleury, and he holds it.
Well, one more look at the Penguins power play without James Neal. They get a great opportunity. Kunitz blocked there by the 20-year-old Murray, shuffled out by Jack Johnson. And Sidney Crosby tried to dig it in from underneath the 20-year-old Ryan Murray. There they are, Jack Johnson and Sidney Crosby. Shattuck St. Mary's. A little baseball and a little hockey. And who knows what. A little Yahtzee, maybe?
Well, they probably had some water sports in the summer because they would join each other in the summertime. Connor to the net and it's steered away. It was taken out of danger by Dubinsky, and a lead pass up the right wing to Cam Atkinson. Atkinson turning away. And the Penguins in good defensive position. Excellent, diligent work by the Penguins there defensively. And Niskanen, unfortunately, ices the puck as he tried to clear it away. And they'll bring it back into the Penguin zone. Barrel Automotive leaders. The top Canadians. You see them ranking among the Canadian skaters. You can see Kunitz #1 in power play goals. He's behind Corey Perry in goals overall. 6th in points. And there are just a lot of people now saying, hey, absolutely Chris Kunitz has to be in the Olympics. Makes all the sense in the world to have him playing on the left wing with Sidney Crosby. Especially the way they had to audition different wingers with Sid in the last Olympics.
He just took care of everything himself, didn't he, at the end?
Against Ryan Miller, and we don't know who will be the goaltender for the U.S. team under Dan Bilesman. A lot more Olympic talk heating up now as we get closer and closer. The puck is dumped up into the Blue Jackets zone. Savard to Como. Lead pass up the left wing, not on the mark there. That's an icing call against Columbus. Todd Richards won't like that. On this week's Inside Penguins Hockey, Tomas Vokoun visits his teammates during his recovery. The guys compare Thanksgiving dinner with their teammates and their families, and we recap the plays of the week and much more. Inside Penguins Hockey presented by Heritage Valley Health System tonight after postgame on Root Sports.
And I just wanted to remind you, partner, with that goal by Malkin, 598 now is his career total in points. 598.
Simon Desprez takes it. And over to Robert Bortuzzo. Into the Columbus zone they go. The Jackets getting right back. And it's Como working it ahead to McKenzie. McKenzie down the wing. Desprez eyes him. Vitale working deep in his own zone. Just feeds it to the near wall where Connor will take it. And make sure he gets it off the boards and back up towards the Columbus zone. A little past the halfway mark of the second period, and the Penguins leading 1-0 on Evgeny Malkin's beautiful goals. He took it right to the hoop.
You did.
Evgeny Malkin giving the Penguins a 1-0 lead here in the second period. And how much does that 1-0 lead change things for you defensively? Can you be more aggressive?
No, I think we can continue to dictate the way we want to play the game. I think, that goal is a great example of us playing in the offensive zone. We force an icing, now we bring Evgeny's line on, and we capitalize 10 seconds later. So that's going to continue to be a key for us here, is getting to that offensive zone, taxing these D-men, and making sure we go to work here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Staggy and Bobby, it's all yours.
Penguins out shooting the Jackets 9-3 here in the second period. McKenzie with it now, sends it behind the net. Testu behind the goal, stepping out, shooting it. And it's off a stick and ricochets to the near side where it's taken by Kunitz. Kunitz into the middle now for Sidney Crosby. He'll dump it into the Columbus zone over the head of the goaltender. Prout going back to play it. And Dupuis able to get there and pry it free for Kunitz, who tried to work it to the point, but it came right back to him. Kunitz on the near wall. Sends it back in behind. Prout is there, kicks it up to his stick. And out come the Jackets. Umberger dumped it to the corner. Letang racing back. He's hit by Foligno. Umberger follows on. And the Penguins do a good job to get it out. Crosby outletted the puck to Dupuis. And now to Kunitz. And he dumps it back into the corner. Petter Tooten gives Dupuis a jolt there on the near side and takes the puck. Now back to the defensive zone is Derek Engelland. Engelland, his head up, skating ahead. He scored a game-winning goal in that 3-0 win for the Penguins over the Jackets on November 2nd as a forward. Now here's Malkin to DeMegna, and a shot off the stick of Johansson went behind the net. Up the near wall it comes, and Jokinen trying to get to it, and he does, and he works it back in behind the goal for Jason Megna. The Jackets strong defensively there as Tooten knocked Megna off the puck, and here comes Jack Johnson, his partner, up the left side of the ice and dumps it in behind. Niskanen quickly moved it along, and Evgeny Malkin comes storming back for the Penguins. Malkin to the left side, and Megna. Megna pulls up, shoots it, and the save made by McElhinney. And there's no rebound available for Jussi Jokinen.
Well, opening night, the Penguins defense look like this with Orpik, Martin, and Scuderi, Niskanen, Mata, and Bortuzzo. And tonight, of course, we have no Orpik and no Scuderi and no Martin. Mata's played every game. Niskanen's played every game. Bortuzzo's back in. He's played now 2 of the last 14 games.
That's 1,805 man games lost right there. Experience of those players not in the lineup tonight for the Penguins. On the near side is Blake Como. Como centers. It goes all the way through, and Ryan Murray will have to retreat to center. The 6 guys who are in the lineup tonight don't have as many man games of experience as the 3 guys who are out. Here's Bortuzzo working it up the right side. But thank goodness for the baby Penguins. 8 call-ups this year for the Pens from Wilkes-Barre. It has to be difficult for John Hines, the coach of the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, to deal with all those call-ups, keep his team winning. But the other night they were able to beat St. John in the second of a back-to-back situation there on the road. Here's Letang into the Columbus zone, swinging wide, drops it off. Sill back to Letang. Letang looks to the front of the net, instead just hangs onto the puck. Letang centers and is chopped at by Craig Adams. Didn't get a lot on it, and Ryan Murray works it up the left wing to Brandon Dubinsky. 3-on-3 here. Dubinsky finds Calvert. Sill bumped him, but he turns the corner, centers. Atkinson fanned on it, and it's still loose and now cleared. And a good chance for Atkinson in front.
Really good period, though. The second period, the Penguins are getting shift after shift, able to tire a line down. They kept them out on the goal. In terms of when you talk about Tootin and the defenseman Jack Johnson, who couldn't get to Malkin, as we discovered and knew the interview, Dan Potash talking to Todd Reardon. That's exactly what they're looking for, is one line to keep it deep and the next line to just build on that.
Now Ole Mata carries ahead. Talley just sails one to the net, steered away by McElhinney behind the net. Sutter gets to the puck and works it up to the point. Here's Niskanen to the right side. Derek Engelland with a wrist shot and a save by McElhinney. Nobody in front of the net. Connor, Sutter, and Vitale out here right now for the Penguins.
You know who else attacks us? It taxes the netminder. It really does. He's been good in the hockey game, but you get that power play, and you come back with what the Penguins came back with, those couple of shifts. McElhinney looked tired on that goal. He didn't make a move on Malcolm. When you think about it, he didn't come out with a poke check like you would normally expect in netminder. The defense was tired. He was tired. And the Penguins, their work ethic is really, after the first 5 minutes, it's really cranked up here.
And now Crosby forces the turnover. Kunis to Dupuis off the glove of McElhinney. Crosby looks for the puck, but it's grabbed by the Jackets, and they just want to get rid of it, get it out. And Niskanen waits for it, the pop fly at center. And Crosby ahead now for Dupuis. The pass went by him. Kunis turns the cage, tripped over the cage. Here's Crosby, and he was unable to pull the trigger there. Good defensive work on him by Foligno, and another shot taken by Kunis is kicked out by McElhinney. And racing back for the puck into his own zone is Bortuzzo. Under pressure from Johansson. 4:50 to go in the period. The Penguins up 1-0. And Jack Johnson has control of the puck now at center ice.
He's just slowing it down. They're trying to just get their legs back under them.
Shot taken from a sharp angle, goes up off a stick into the netting on the near side.
Discipline, hard work in hockey, always a recipe for success. It is so far in this one.
There's a look at former Penguin Mark Letestu, who has not lit the lamp since October 5th. No goals in almost 2 months. Is a tough stretch for any player, but he did find the net. Unfortunately, it was his own on November 7th. Bob, when it's bad, it's bad. And for forwards, wingers, centers, whatever it may be, a goal drought is a tough thing to sit and wait for, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. When you're struggling, you're gripping that stick tight, and it's tough. And when you said Bob, I don't know if you were talking to me or Bob Broski, who scored on.
Dubinsky with a wraparound attempt, stopped at the post by Fleury. Dubinsky works it behind the net some more. Atkinson's in the slot. And Dubinsky protecting the puck, works it to the point. And they pass across for Trout. Malkin had ideas of stealing that and going the other way, but couldn't get there in time. Now Matt Calvert with it in the corner. Tried to go behind the net. Mata got a piece of it, but it comes to Atkinson. And Cam Atkinson, a great college hockey player, works it back in deep. Played for BC, won a championship with Brian Dumoulin, the Penguin defenseman who was just called up, and Brian Gibbons, who's back in Wilkes-Barre. And Philip Samuelson, who's still in Wilkes-Barre. Magna backhands the puck up the wall, back into the Columbus zone. Really good hockey player from BC. Here's Atkinson shooting up high, and the save made by Fleury as Calvert went to the net. Fleury's controlled the rebounds well here tonight.
Yes, and he had to work on this one. Look at Malkin. He's playing as a left winger. He gets shut off on the inside. That leaves the point wide open as there was a real scrum on that faceoff. Malkin playing the left wing with Sutter, and a good opportunity by Dubinsky again from behind the net. When Malkin's out there playing a forward position, he's really got to know what his responsibility is. He's used to free roaming around that range, isn't he? And, he's got to be very disciplined on those faceoffs, knowing his assignments.
Top line of the Jackets on as Fleury kicks one out to the near side. Johansson working for the puck, as is Foligno. The Penguins make sure they don't control it. And a nice play by Niskanen to move it into the middle to Dupuis. And Dupuis slips it up into the left wing corner of the Columbus zone. Kunitz in on the forecheck, hitting Savard. Engelland able to keep the puck into the corner for Dupuis, and now for Kunitz. And Crosby was in front. Kunitz couldn't get on the puck. Savard trying to get it out. Crosby upended, gets back up, and the Jackets get it out. And it'll be dumped in by Umberger to the right wing corner, and back to get it goes Matt Niskanen. Foligno throws the shoulder into him, and Blake Como back behind the net for Foligno. Foligno steps out, finds a man, Jack Johnson, looking for a lane. Dupuis went down, he went around him, centers, and it's right on the stick of Como, moves it out to the center point, out of the near side, and Johnson shoots it, and Fleury makes the save, and Crosby right there to get the rebound. Escapes in front of his own net, and able to clear it to center. And Dupuis will race to the puck. Fedor Tutin coming over to challenge. Dupuis trying to power his way through that. And Tutin held him off. Now Crosby takes it, centers it, comes right to Jokinen. His shot, save made. And down went McElhinney as he collided with Pascal Dupuis. And Johansson has the puck on the right wing board. Johansson to center, and he'll dump it up into the Penguin zone to the left side, and Umberger. Make that Boone Jenner. Boone Jenner dumping into the right wing corner. Up the near wall it comes, and the Penguins trying to get it out to Prey. Couldn't clear. Boone Jenner's got it. Centers, and Como couldn't shoot it. Excellent defensive coverage there by Dupre. And Jokinen comes back. Jokinen down the wing. Can't shoot it. It looked like Vitale was upended there as he was skating towards the net. There was no call, away from the play. And now Como.
Blue line.
Yeah. Was he tripped at the blue line?
No,
Over the blue line?
the blue line. The paint was raised.
And now here's Adams with it. Back to the net. And he steers it to the near side. Watch out for that blue line. Here comes Derek McKenzie to the right side, and Letestu shoots it wide of the goal. McKenzie after it to the left wing board. Sends it back around. Letestu couldn't stop it. Comes near side Savard. Savard behind the net for Letestu. And the Jackets working in deep. Trop with it. Adams on him. 1:05 to go in the period. Penguins still holding that 1-0 lead. Here's Savard now shooting off the end boards. And Craig Adams will get to the puck. And now it's Zach Sill to Ole Mata. The left side of Letang, the defenseman. Sill drives the net, and the shot by Letang. And McElhinney made the right play there to make sure he steered that puck away from the net. It jumps up into the netting, and there'll be a face-off with 47.8 seconds to go in the period.
It's a hard-working hockey game right now, and you have to use all four lines. You have to keep the shifts to about 35, 36 seconds. The last rush for the Penguins as the Jackets changed at the end of the second period. Not a good change. The Penguins taking advantage of that. Young Murray out there with Savard, the pairing that's in this game. Wisniewski was playing with Ryan Murray most of the year, out with an injury.
They're also missing Marian Gaborik tonight. That's a guy who could provide them with a big goal now and then. And there's Niskanen with it now for the Penguins. Headman's the puck. Kunitz has a lot of room.
Nathan Horton's still out of the lineup as well. Another guy that you're going to lean on for goal scoring and down low work.
His shoulder surgery. He's due back, I would think, in the next month or so. Letang giving a pretty good hit there by Dubinsky, and Calvert's got it. He centers, and Atkinson couldn't find the puck, and the Penguins go the other way with just 14 seconds left. Crosby, maybe one more opportunity here. Crosby. Dubinsky got in his face. Crosby takes it back. 7 seconds to go in the period. And it'll be taken by the Jackets. An opportunity down the wing comes Johnson. He's tired, though, at the end of the second period. And the Penguins with that 1-0 lead, courtesy of Evgeny Malkin, his 8th goal of the season. And by the way, Malkin had a 9-game streak going before he was injured, so that makes 10 straight games that he scored a point.
And one could win it.
Evgeny Malkin is back, and the Pens are up 1-0 over Columbus. In case you're just joining us, here's what you missed, presented by your Western PA Honda dealers.
And a steal. Foligno took it away from Niskanen. Down the wing, he shoots it. Well, he makes the save.
Crosby just buried the head and blasted like that.
Dupuis shooting, he hit the goalpost as he got rid of it so quickly. Ooh, here's Malkin driving to the net. Walks in, scores! Evgeny Malkin goes coast to coast. Here's Malkin, Jokinen, Crosby didn't get it through. Couldn't shoots it and hit a man. Murray was down and hit his leg. So the Penguins with that Malkin goal have a 1-0 lead through 40 minutes of play. And Bob, one thing about guys who play on the fourth line, they do spend time on the bench because they don't get as much ice time as some other players. And I guess it does help to have a guy who does a little bit of cheerleading down there and keeps guys sharp while he's sitting on the bench.
Yeah, not only does it keep guys sharp, it keeps himself ready for when he gets in, and he needs to communicate down there. A guy like Craig Adams, let's listen to what he had to say in the second period.
When the puck's coming around the boards to us, talk to us, eh? Yeah. Because they're deer down, but like that time he didn't pinch.
Nice, Nino, nice, Steve.
Heads up! Tater!
Well, you see what you get there is you get a guy not only he's saying to Sill, communicate when the puck comes around the wall because he's playing a different wing here tonight, number one. Number two, you saw in the third clip that he's communicating himself when he's on the ice. And that's how important it is to communicate. Talk, yell. When there's a pass that comes around the wall, like in Boston the other night on the first shift, do you think the right winger would have liked to have a little communication, like heads up, somebody's coming to hit you? Communication's very, very important.
Olimata with it up the wing. Great stuff. Thanks to the Penguins for the mic'd up situation. Here's Letang down the right wing. Shoots it. Oh, right off the toe of McElhinney. He almost scored there. Now Malkin takes it and dumps it deep back around near side. And Letang with it. Letang moves it out to Olimata. Back into the corner to Malkin. Cycles it up high. And continues to control the puck. And look out, the Jackets will take it away, and it's Foligno with it. Johansson takes the drop pass, the wrist shot, and Fleury corrals the puck again. All night long, he has been absorbing shots and not allowing second opportunities.
And that is 20 saves, 21 now for Marc-Andre Fleury. In the third period here, you want to force Columbus to get their opportunities, not turn it over in the neutral zone there. Make them go 200 feet.
Prout with a shot, deflected over to the near side and taken now by Pascal Dupuis. He didn't get it out though. It's held in by Dubinsky behind the goal. Fleury there, slides it along for Derek Engelland. Snaps it out on right wing to Dupuis, who handed it off to Crosby, and now to Kunitz. Kunitz backhand shot stopped by McElhinney. And the Jackets have been pretty alert to get the pucks that come off his pads. And the Penguins have been getting pucks down low to the net. Now Prout snaps it back into the Penguin zone. Back to get it. Derek Engelland. Out here with Niskanen. Sent it up the boards. Up into the puck is Boone Jenner. And he collided with Derek Engelland. And Niskanen tried to move it out, and he does get it up the wall. Kunitz wanted to go back to Engelland and gave it away to Boone Jenner. He shoots it, and that's off the stick of Engelland and up into the netting.
Well, you get a breakout. You want puck support. Goes to the winger. Look at Sidney Crosby. It's a 1-foot pass to him. A little flip pass, area pass to Kunitz. He's looking for the pass off the pads. He got the pads. Just not quite the angle from McElhinney. As Sidney Crosby went for the far side. Great breakup by the Penguins.
Murray. Como. Right side, Savard. Blocker save made by Fleury on a heavy wrist shot. And on the near side, Como sends it back down low. And the Jackets hungry here early in the third period. Anisimov with it to the right point. Murray on the left side. Dumps it down deep. Back around for Boone Jenner behind the net. Down went Dupre. Gets back up with Boone Jenner on top of the puck. Dupre looking for it. As is Connor. Boone Jenner wins the battle. And now Bortuzzo steps in front of him, and the puck comes over to the near side, and Como sends it back around to the other side of the ring. Savard crashing down. Worked it behind the net for Como. Como trying to control the puck. And Sutter able to skate it out of danger to Dupre, and back to Brandon Sutter into the Columbus zone. Driving to the net is Vitale as Sutter banks it off the boards to himself. Behind the net looking for Vitale, but Savard got in the way of that. And it's Artem Anisimov coming back now for the Columbus Blue Jackets to center. Taken by Letang. Now to Sutter. Bob, I want to ask you, all that hard work the Jackets are doing down low, but it doesn't seem like they're getting to the net. Why is that?
You see the hard work that Dupre and Bortuzzo were doing down there? The Penguins defense has been very active down there, and they've used that centerman. He's kind of your helper. He's part of that triangle. He's part of that defense, and the Penguins have brought their forwards inside the dots. Look at the work that the defense have done. Bortuzzo. Now, there's hard work by Columbus, but Bortuzzo and Dupre are staying on the inside, the net side of those forwards, so you got to go through them to get to the net. They can do all that work they want along the wall, along that yellow dasher, but they still got to go through you. You try to go through those guys.
Johnson with a blast off the faceoff, and Fleury steered it away with the stick. And Craig Adams takes off with it now at center. Banks it behind Jack Johnson in a fight. It's Corey Trop and Zach Sill. Going round and round here. A little dance as they cling to one another. Uppercut by Sill.
And Trop, I believe, hit Niskanen, so Sill jumping in and throwing lefts now.
No helmet for Sill.
Now Raichi's got him down. Now there was a big hit on Matt Niskanen. And there's Corey Trop launching Niskanen into the wall. And Zach Sill didn't like it. He went and asked Trop if he wanted to dance, and he did. And Zach Sill finished it off. He'll get a lot of taps from the teammates as he goes down into the Penguins locker room.
And I would imagine that Matt Niskanen is very appreciative of what Zach Sill did there, right there, and kind of an example of how players come to the rescue of their teammates when they see hits. Dan Bilesman said today, he's quoted, he said, "There are hits in the game and not everyone needs to be answered by a fight." No, not everyone. Maybe that one.
Maybe.
No, it was. And I guarantee you Matt Niskanen is pleased.
And I'll tell you the important thing about this, too, is he didn't take the extra two. Zach Sill, he didn't go in there, which is great. In a hockey game, a 1-0 game, you want to make sure that you're not taking any kind of penalty here if you're the Pittsburgh Penguins and doing it the right way.
The two players who are cut from the same cloth, Sill and Trop, willing combatants. And now here's Umberger sending it down the corner boards. It's Foligno bringing it back up high, try to go back into the corner, and Malkin took it away. Ahead to Jussi Jokinen. Jokinen over the line, drops it off to Malkin. Back to Jokinen to Migna. His shot off a stick. Jack Johnson got it in there and deflected it up into the netting behind the Columbus goal. And they still are down by just one with lots of time to go.
And I really think it's okay for Malkin to be selfish there and shoot that puck. He's a left-hand shot. He's inside the dots. The puck came back to him, and he had a better opportunity than Megna would have had from that angle. You got it going like Gino's got it going. Let's take control.
When these two teams met the first time back on November 1st, there was no Neal, and it was Megna, Jokinen, and Malkin playing together, and they scored a goal, you might remember, Megna scoring. Now Chris Kunitz with it behind the net for Ole Mata. Mata confronted on the near boards by Dubinsky, who sent it back down the wall. Dupuis able to pry it free over to Letang. And now to Kunitz. Chris Kunitz ahead for Ole Mata. Mata closes in, shoots it. It went off a leg and came right back to him. Now he's in deep. Kunitz covers for him at the point. And now he backs up like a defenseman as the Jackets break out. And the Jackets in down the right side. He shoots it off a stick around to the near side. And going to be dumped back into the corner by Calvert. Dubinsky cycling out here now with Atkinson as he moves it to the right point. And it's Prout with a drive. Oh, the rebound skipped right past Dubinsky. He had some net to work with there, but he couldn't control the puck. Now Olli Maatta sends it up the wall. Kunitz back into the middle. Diving play by Dupuis to get it ahead of Crosby. Jackets are changing off the bench. Spin around by Sid, and then he lost it. And over to play it now. Fresh off the bench is Robert Bortuzzo for the Penguins. Out in center to Crosby. Back across the rink off the stick of Boone Jenner. Malkin reaches in for the puck. And now Adams breaks it up at the blue line. But the Jackets dump it right back into the corner. Robert Bortuzzo with it. Adams will skate to the puck, but he overskates at center. It's actually knocked away from him and back to the Penguin defense. Dupre to Bortuzzo, who dumps it up into the Columbus zone. Back to get it is Savard. Dishes it to the near side. Kobasu on the wall. And a centering pass for Adams. He chops it towards the net. Kobasu cutting over there trying to get to it, but Anisimov got there first and cleared it. And now it's Dupre handling into the neutral zone. And he looks to dump it in, but it hit the stick of Anisimov. Right of Anisimov drops it off to Savard. David Savard. But the Penguins all gathering in the neutral zone, and Adams heading to the bench. He's replaced. And Foligno skips one just wide of the goal. McKenzie takes it on the corner boards. Sent it up the boards, but right to Chris Connor of the Penguins. Foligno reached around him and knocked it free for McKenzie. McKenzie back into the corner, looking for Letestu, and it went up into the netting. And there'll be a face-off in the Penguin zone.
Well, our Rivers Casino tips to win were Malkin, first goal, and if you freeze it right here, guys, we're talking about the left wing lock. We have the left winger Kunitz. We take away this left side with Letang. We have another player here. We take away, the Penguins take away the 3 lanes, 3-lane defense, and guess who gets the puck at the end of it? It is dumped in. Kunitz, the left winger, gets back there, that line of defense. Great stuff there, and that's exactly what the Penguins are looking for in the neutral zone. They got the first goal, and Malkin got it in a 1-0 game so far in this third.
13:44 to go, and it's Sutter with a puck, driving to the net centers, and nobody home except for the Jackets. And they come roaring back, and it's Johansson. He's hit in the neutral zone by the tally. The puck comes around near side, taken there by Derek Engelland. He's got a man open on the left side. It's Sid. Fakes the shot, fires it. Good save on McElhinney. Stayed with it. And a double clutch by Sidney Crosby. And now it's Cam Atkinson carrying back to center. And Dupuis confronts him. He's able to dump it inside the line. But Matt Niskanen with plenty of time to headman the puck. Kunitz cuts into the middle. He's got Dupuis on his left. Crosby's open here on the right. He's got it. Crosby shoots it. And hit a man in front. And taken now by Prout. He gave it right to the Penguins' Olli Maatta. And he tried a shot pass to Sidney Crosby, and he couldn't redirect it. And back to center it comes, and Olli Maatta will go get it on the far side. Maatta back around for Chris Letang. Letang gets those feet moving, skating strongly tonight for the Penguins. With an offside call on Pittsburgh as they enter the Columbus zone.
Curtis McElhinney's been good, as has Sidney Crosby. And he came from the bench for Connor, a centerman for a left winger. Wow. In the last game, the injury to Orpik. Letang over 31 minutes in that hockey game. Well, he's just shy of 20 right now. The Penguins have been able to utilize all 6 defensemen very well, not overtaxing Chris Letang in this hockey game as they set up one of their neutral zone faceoff. Maatta playing left wing. Jokinen on left D, but he's going to have to come in after Malkin just got kicked out. And Malkin will move back to left D.
And Jokinen able to kick the puck free, but the Penguins don't get there first. The Jackets do. And the shot taken by Prout is absorbed by Marc-Andre Fleury, and he holds on to it.
Jokinen took that draw. He kicked it back with his skate, Staggy, but after things got discombobulated with Malkin getting kicked out, the Penguins seemed a little confused. Maatta was playing left wing. He didn't want to go get that puck. And you got to know your assignments on that faceoff, win or lose that faceoff. How about Sidney Crosby jumping on for Chris Connor, a left winger? Crosby, a center, jumping on for a left winger. I know that oh too well. Playing with Mario Lemieux, he used to always jump out first. If the left winger came off the ice, I didn't jump out before Mario. Mario jumped out for that offensive opportunity like Crosby did.
There's a chance for Calvert. He tried to wrap around and Fleury at the post, stopping Matt Calvert. He has only 1 goal, Calvert, but he came extremely close to getting his second right there. Sneaky play from behind the net.
Well, haven't their best chances been generated from behind the net here in this hockey game? We saw Dubinsky earlier, the Supermo, presented by Allegheny Health Network there. Again, Marc-Andre Fleury's got to get that skate, that left blade right on the goalpost. And goaltenders, they don't need their skates ultra sharp. They're a little bit duller than normal because they got to move left to right on that ice. They can't be catching an edge, if you will. Very flat blades. You know all about it, Steggy. You were a netminder.
What if I told you I didn't use goalie skates? I actually used regular skates in 1971.
I'm sure they were really
in
dull.
Pittsburgh.
They were dull.
They were very protective, let me tell you. That's hard. It hits your toes and you don't have a steel plate in there.
Oh, yeah. Outdoor hockey, too.
Exactly.
South Park.
Here's Malkin shooting and a save. The rebound, Engelland went to the net. Couldn't corral that rebound. Malkin behind the net to the corner now for Kobasu. He works it up top to Adams. Adams sends it back in behind the net. Malkin trying to control it. Up the wall for Engelland on his backhand. Back to the corner to Gino. Over to help out is Adams. Now Engelland once again will have to hold it in on the backhand. Not an easy thing to do. So he just shovels it in deep. And the Jackets able to break it out. On the left side, Boone Jenner steers it up into the Penguin zone and goes to the bench.
Too many men? Too many men, I think, possibly, for Columbus.
Looks that way. Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Bob, I want to ask you if I can about you going off the left winger. That's on that side of the ice when you're going that way. What about if it's going the other way? Would it be the right winger? The same difference because you're closer to the ice, to the bench. And Connor's close to the bench. He's a left winger, right?
That's why he made the change, possibly.
Right.
But even if it was the right winger, I think Crosby's the guy coming on the ice.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. So it would be a right winger if you're going in the other direction.
Yep.
The guy closest to the board.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, and behind the net, it's Ole Mata with it.
No penalty here, by the way. It was just an icing.
Kunitz takes it. Dishes it off to Mata. To the right wing and Dupuis. Mata driving to the net. Dupuis backhand shot. It goes in. It went off for Foligno who went to the net.
I think it's going to be Ole Mata's goal. He shuffled it to the net. And Crosby went to the blue paint. And it did indeed look like it went off a jacket. And there's not a lot of complaining going on here right now as Ole Mata driving wide, shuffles it on the back end, off McElhaney, off a body, and in the net.
I think Sid might have got a stick on it. Or a skate.
It's hard to tell there.
Right leg of Sid, maybe?
Possibly. It's possible. Let's take a look if we can see anything from here. It's possible. And we'll take a look at this to make sure it wasn't kicked in at all. It's in the net. It's going to count.
Well, I know this. Sid went to the net. Foligno went with him, and as a result, the puck went off, I think, both of them and into the goal. So the Penguins have made it 2-0. And now you know how the official scores have to figure it all out. There's a shot up high by Johnson, gloved down by Fleury. And Dupre gets engaged with one of the Jackets in front of the net. All jumping in there. Dupre's in a headlock right now. And Mark Letestu, the man who's got the grip on him.
Derek McKenzie came a long way as well to try to get involved in that altercation in front of Marc-Andre Fleury as he reached up and settled the puck down in the Penguin zone. He's looking at McKenzie right there, Derek McKenzie. A couple of goals in 23 games. Only 9 penalty minutes. He was looking for somebody. Back to the point, Fleury down, up. There's Dupre. A little bit late. That's why McKenzie came in on Simone Dupre. Dupre clearing out, and the Penguins have done a real good job clearing out in front of Marc-Andre Fleury. Boxing, being strong, being tough. And remember, no Brooks Orpik. Oh, there's a whack of a stick on Robert Bortuzzo. Just got whacked by Brandon Dubinsky, who had one hand on his stick, and he tried to club Bortuzzo over the shoulder.
Now Bortuzzo and
Take a look
Dubinsky
here.
are going off.
There's one whack. I think he's going to come back with another one right there as he just got a piece of the glove of Bortuzzo.
So we're going to have Dupre, McKenzie, Bortuzzo, and Dubinsky all in the penalty box.
Maybe 3-on-3? Well, Dubinsky's going to be escorted to the dressing room for what he did with 10:50 left on the clock. Richards looking on. And he'll want an explanation. One more look. Bortuzzo, a little love tap, as well as Dubinsky. But Dubinsky came back with the extra shot. The first two, nothing there. But that extra one by Dubinsky, that was something more than nothing.
I think it's interesting how Bortuzzo always seems to draw the attention of the opposition. He stirs the pot down there and he gets people mad at him, doesn't he?
He said he wanted to play that way, but Simone Dupre started the whole thing. That late little shot on Marco Testu. And when you're not playing with Brooks Orpik in the lineup, somebody's got to step up in front of the net and clear traffic and box out. And it hasn't just been those two guys. We've showed you some of the work of Dupre and Bortuzzo, but Engelland, Niskanen, you just go right down that lineup. Ole Mata boxing out in front.
And you got two defensemen in the penalty box for the Penguins. And Crosby does get the goal, his 16th from Dupuis and Mata. Probably should be Mata and Dupuis, right? He would get the first assist. He shot the puck to the net. And now it's Jack Johnson with it. He comes behind the net on his backhand, turns to the forehand and sends it right through the paint. Taken now by Jack Johnson. Controlled by Feder Tootin. Now to Jack Johnson. Here's Johansson carrying, he leaves it for Johnson. Nowhere to go with it. But a shot by Atkinson. Fleury looks back, but the puck's underneath him.
Boy, he really held that right arm tight to his body as he looked behind, and he didn't want the trickler. Not now. Not in this one, as we're halfway through the third period, and Marc-Andre smiled with a little smile there, looking around and squeezing tight. 4-on-4, a lot of rotation in the offensive zone. Defensemen are always dangerous in these situations. Watch out for 27, Ryan Murray.
And Derek Engelland with it over now to Matt Niskanen. And he looks ahead, and now he'll just carry the puck under pressure from Cam Atkinson. He finds Engelland as his outlet. And Engelland across the rink for Chris Kunitz. They weave now as they bring that puck ahead. Kunitz ran into Johansson and lost the puck to Murray. Murray to Nikita Nikitin. And now Atkinson looks for the puck. He's going to have to drop it back on defense. 47 seconds to go on the penalties to Dupre and McKenzie. And look out here. There's a chance for Atkinson. He fired it in a pinball away from the net somehow.
Looked like it hit Fleury almost in the mask.
I was wondering that too. His head kind of snapped. Really a lot on that shot. Now here's Niskanen into the Columbus zone. Man wide open. Dupuis, he blasted it wide of the goal. He's got a heavy slap shot, usually pretty accurate, but he missed the net. Now Murray with it, and he'll drop it off to Nikita Nikitin. Ahead now to Umberger to the right side looking for Foligno. Niskanen got out of the way of that, and the puck comes to the goaltender. 11 seconds remaining on the penalties.
Couple of chances. One up high on Fleury and Pascal Dupuis. Ripping one off the glass. Well, you see how the side of the mask comes away from their body a little bit, from their head. And you need it for a shot like this. Right off the side of the head from Marc-Andre Fleury, his right side, as he almost used his head in a soccer-type fashion to knock it into the corner there. Referee went by him, and Duper had an opportunity too, just missing the head of McElhaney.
Face off to the left of Marc-Andre Fleury, controlled by the Jackets. Jack Johnson with a move, and it skips, kind of flipped up into the logo of Fleury, who juggles it in the glove. And we'll see another face off to the left of Marc-Andre Fleury. Jack Johnson moving up there, looking for his third goal. Now Mata on the face-off trying to get possession here. And Letang steps in, as does Crosby. And out now for Dupre out of the box. He and McKenzie came out together, and Dupre able to dump that puck in. Sutter getting in after it. And Jack Johnson there as well. Sutter and Crosby work the end boards. Letestu, Tootin, and Johnson there for the Blue Jackets. McKenzie carries it out. And Letestu dumps it up into the corner. Mata goes back for it. Calvert on him. And Mata braced himself for that check nicely, but now the Jackets end up with a puck. Centering pass for Letestu. The Penguins got everybody back to the house. And now Feder Tootin dumps it off the end boards. Around now for Blake Como, back into the corner. And all the way around to the near side for Feder Tootin. Tootin throws it to the net. Fleury the save. Loose around the net. Crosby had it and lost it. And finally the Penguins do work it back to neutral ice. Under 8 minutes to go. Penguins up by 2 now.
That gets you a change. That gets you the ice. Holding the stick of Crosby. Calvert, I think, as he was trying to make a change.
Only Mata fired it up the near wall. Murray got it back towards the net, but it went off a leg to the corner, and Jokinen able to just ease it up towards the Columbus zone.
That's the key right there. Soft hand, but it's not icing.
Now Engelland steps up at the blue line. The puck gets behind him and goes back into the Penguin zone for an icing call against Columbus. Penguins very busy these days, and they will continue to be once they get a few days off in the middle of this week. They're going to play Friday against New Jersey, and then Saturday against Detroit, and then Monday against Toronto. Then they go to New York to play the Rangers and back home to meet the Minnesota Wild and Mike Yeo. That's our Nissan road ahead.
Sill didn't come back after the fight. Adams is playing center right now with Malkin on the right and Jokinen. I'm not sure if he's on the bench or not, Sill. I know he did go down that runway after that fight. He's not on the ice here right now.
Matt Niskanen back to the puck. In behind the net for Derek Engelland. And up the wall now for Craig Adams. Adams on the near wall. And it squirts back over to the far side where it's taken by Murray. There's your guy, Sill, as he goes down the right wing and backhands it in behind the net. Kobasu trying to keep it in. It comes back to center. Letang. Johansson trying to take it away from him. We got a collision over there in front of the benches as Foligno and Adams went down.
We got a penalty here. Is this the first power play opportunity for Columbus?
Kobasu, I think. Yeah, he's the one who collided with Foligno, and he's coming over to go to the box.
Number 12, 2 minutes for tripping.
Yep. And taking a look, Sill is on the bench.
No, he just skated with the puck down the wing.
Yep. So we got enough players. As I'm counting my bodies, I lost one, but Bortuzzo was in the box. There's a look at the penalty. Chuck Kobasu getting caught up.
So that's a pretty good opportunity for Columbus, I would say, to get some life here. There's still a lot of time left, 6:48 to go. As they'll go to work on the power play, and if you're a team that is struggling for offense, these are opportunities you just can't waste. You want to win hockey games or get points.
Yes, as you mentioned, no Horton, no Gaborik. That doesn't help your cause. For the NHL's 22nd, 8th round power play.
And they set it up at the blue line. Johnson, Johansson to Umberger. Umberger will bring it up high. R.J. Umberger for Johansson. Ryan Johansson holds it. Letang got in his face. The bouncing puck. Umberger trying to find it. Letang in there battling. He pried it free, and only Mata under siege tried to get to it, but the Jackets win the battle for the puck, and Feder Tootin for Foligno. Back to the front of the net. Umberger's going to go get it. Out to Jack Johnson. Johnson protects the puck. Adams and Sutter up top on the penalty kill. Mata and Letang are the defensemen for the Penguins. And knocked away by Letang. The Penguins are able to get a change on their penalty killing as Foligno holds the puck, and they'll change a couple power play guys too. Columbus will. Here's Foligno with it, bringing it along on the backhand with Sill challenging him. Now it's Sill and Dupuis on the penalty kill. And Letang still on the ice, able to send it all the way down.
Dubinsky, he got a 10 as well, and he's out of this hockey game unless we go to overtime, I believe. He's not available for this power play.
Look out, Ryan Murray, far side. The shot by Nikitin is stopped by Fleury. And Niskanen and Anisimov in a one-on-one battle to try to get possession. Engelland pried it free to the near side. And a shovel to the line by Sill and got out as they don't have to stick of Murray to center. And Nikitin sets it up in the neutral zone with 10 seconds to go on the penalty to Kobasu. Here's Ryan Murray into the Penguin zone. Murray trying to get around Niskanen. Engelland comes over to play the puck. Derek Engelland didn't get it out. Held in by the Jackets. Nikita Nikitin shot it and hit a man. Penguins are back at full strength. Kovacic on the ice. And Dupuis looks for Sill. Cam Atkinson took it away from him, and Atkinson, surrounded by Penguin jerseys, continues to control the puck. Got it back now to Prout. And he tried to get it to Nikitin, but it's picked off by Dupuis. And Dupuis will dump it into the Columbus zone and turn and go to the bench with 4:25 to go in the third period. Left wing pass for Boone Jenner. He's cut off by Jason Magno. Backhanded the puck to the blue line, but it's held in by the Jackets. Now they hit Dupuis or Dupre with the puck as Letestu tried to get it deep, and it's Kunitz up the left wing into the Columbus zone. Kunitz trying to get into the middle. Took his man down. It was Prout. He gets back up as the puck goes to the corner, and Blake Como will handle it down for the Jackets. Drops it back to Prout.
Good shift for Megna out there in place of Dupuis, who just finished the penalty kill for Pittsburgh.
Dalton Prout with a long lead pass. And it comes right to Ole Mata off the stick, and he will get it to Dupre, who gets it out to center, and Vitale tries to carry it. And back for it now is Feder Tootin. 3.5 minutes to go. Savard with it, up on left wing to Derek McKenzie. He's got Umberger with it. They stay onside as he throws it to the net. Oh, it deflected in towards the goal, and Fleury got a piece of it to direct it away from the net. Now Feder Tootin sends it back behind the goal for Umberger. Loose around that cage as Trop came out in front of the net. Now Johnson shoots it. That hits Malkin. And it is Jokinen dumping it up into the Columbus zone. Vitale getting in after it. Feder Tootin will take the puck now from Johnson and send it up the left wing. 2:55 to go in the third period. The Penguins ahead by 2. Foligno steps into the Penguin zone. Goes to the right side. Johansson's shot off a stick of Niskanen and up into the netting behind the Penguins goal.
No Orpik, no Scuderi, no Martin.
No goals for Columbus.
Exactly.
Subway sandwich of the game tonight, Bob.
Trop got dropped by England. And that's our Subway sandwich of the game. Now there's been some big hits. Trop's been in the middle of a lot of altercations in the game. In a good way, I think. He's been on the forecheck. Nothing to show for the efforts of the Blue Jackets, who really came out with some spunk in the first 5 minutes. Then the Penguins elevated their game.
Foligno throws it towards the net.
And look where Mata is. He's all the way up. He followed Foligno from the faceoff all the way up to Foligno. That was his man. He knew exactly his assignment. And normally, back in the old days, you wouldn't want your defenseman going outside the hash marks. Mata went all the way up like a left winger on that set faceoff and took away Foligno. That was terrific. That was really good stuff. I'll give him an A.
Craig Adams.
Maybe 3 A's.
Sutter. Oh, boy, some crashing and banging down there, Bob, in the neutral zone. Savard stepping up on Sutter, who went down. He gets back up and sees Murray coming to center. He takes a piece of him after he lost the puck, and Savard does dump the puck into the Penguin zone. Letang back to get it. Send it up the wall, and Adams trying to get it out. Gets some help from Ole Mata. Over to Joe Vitale. And Vitale shifts into higher gear and moves down into the right wing corner. Sends it back around to the far side where Cam Atkinson will take it. Now to Foligno. Adams chasing him as he slips it behind Niskanen and gets in after it himself. Ole Mata over. Foligno turned his back on him, centered the puck to Anisimov. Little one-touch drop pass there for Prout, who was under pressure from Kunitz as he got it to Nikita Nikitin on the near wall. And Anisimov came over to try to carry it down the boards, but the Penguins force it back to the Columbus line. And Dupuis hustles over to get in the face of Prout. Nikita Nikitin sends it across. Taken there by Matt Calvert. Niskanen steps up on him. Anisimov with a turning shot. And he sailed it over the goal. The net's empty. The Jackets have McElhinney out of the net. And they're trying to get back into this game with 1.5 minutes remaining. And it's dumped in. Fleury's going to go for a goal here. He's headed to the net. Fleury will not score. He just missed. And he's frustrated right now as you look at him. He just missed. Kunitz takes it. The puck made a left turn. It looked like it was heading in.
I told Doc Emmerich it was going to be a 1-0 game. He said, no, 2. And I said, who's going to score the second, Fleury?
Look out, the Jackets just scored. Calvert on the doorstep. So they score with the extra attacker on instead of Fleury sealing the deal. He allows Calvert to beat him, and he didn't have much chance there as Calvert was wide open right on the doorstep.
No, and that play started again from behind the net on Marc-Andre Fleury as that puck goes deep behind the net and comes out. Boy, Derek Engelland was going to play that puck. And there's Marc-Andre Fleury, the puck just not behaving, going wide of that net. No icing. Oh man, Fleury couldn't believe it. That close. And now in a 2-1 hockey game, it's that close.
So Calvert gets his second of the season and a very big one for the Jackets to give them some hope. Just as we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite of Genny Malkin.
Soaring right there. Using those edges. Great speed. Coming back after missing 2 games.
So 2 games in a row, the opposition scores with the extra attacker. The Bruins did it to tie the game the other night, and then of course they won it on the goal by Zdeno Chara with time ticking down. And the Penguins will do their best now to prevent another goal from being scored here and see if they can get out of here. By the way, that goal by Calvert ends all that long shutout time for Penguin goaltenders against the Blue Jackets, because in their last game, Zakhoff had the shutout, and Fleury came that close to getting another one. McElhinney goes to the bench again. The extra attacker on. Niskanen back in his own zone for Sill. Jack Johnson chops it to the corner. Niskanen there, backhands it up the wall. Sutter trying to get it out. It's going to be chipped back to center by Zach Sill. Petter Tootin takes the puck. Sill trying to take it away. Just hacking and whacking him as he goes back in behind his own net. We've got 27 seconds to go. The Jackets looking to get the equalizer here, and the long shot to the net. Fleury steers it aside for Letang, who turns the corner. 18 seconds left. Johnson came down the wall to try to keep it alive. It went by him and all the way back into the Columbus zone.
No icing. It went off. Off a player.
Long pass again. Comes ricocheting back to the line. 4 seconds to go. Zach Sill trying to get to the puck. It's Calvert kicking it ahead, and the game's over. And Marc-Andre Fleury is our McDonald's player of the game as he stops 32 of 33 Blue Jackets shots.
And almost had a shot of his own. He made it exciting, but you saw when the puck came to him again in a 2-1 hockey game, there was no chance he was going to try it again. He tried it because they had a 2-goal cushion at that point.
And Malkin and Crosby, your goal scorers. Sydney with the game-winning goal here tonight over the Columbus Blue Jackets. Let's go to Rob King and Jay Caulfield for the Penguins postgame show.
Talking about thanks very much, and kind of a workman-like victory for the Penguins after that emotional game against Boston.
Yeah, I really believe that. It's a tough one. Not that you have to you battle to get up for an NHL game. I don't care who comes into town. Columbus is a hard-working team with a lot of guys on the shelf as well. They came in and played a hard game, but as a Pittsburgh Penguin, after those emotional battles, it's a tough one to kind of pick yourself up for, and they did a good job and got the win.
So the Penguins win. They have now won 6 straight games on home ice and have beaten Columbus 4 consecutive times for the first time in franchise history. Coming up on Penguins postgame, extended highlights, postgame reaction. Jay will tell us straight tonight's 3 stars, and we'll preview the upcoming game for the Pens when we return.